all that, they differ. They are called mortals and immortals. That's where you get where the immortals from. Anytime they was talking about the immortals and you thought that was some shit, that was talking about black people. They got a mortal man on the earth, and they got an immortal man. The immortal man is the immortal man is us. We're immortals. The mortal man is the one that's earthbound, terrestrial, and we are extraterrestrial. You see what I'm saying? They say they differ by a common essence, essence inward, that's melanin. A common essence. But the ones who have the essence in them, the earth environment is a hostile environment, which means it's hostile to us. You see, it's hostile. So the book of Enoch also, all they talk about is killing the white man. So in here, it gives a thing when the end. In here, the actual evil person is Azazel in here. And it said, Enoch went and said to Azazel, you will not have peace. And sir, a sentence and it says, a severe sentence has come against you, that you shall be bound. That you shall be bound. And you will neither have rest nor mercy, nor granting of any petition, because you are wrong, and which you have taught, and because of all works in blasphemy, and wrong and sin, and you have shown that you have shown to the sons of man, which means you have fucked over us. Then I went and spoke to them all together. Now he's talking about these particular entities that's getting ready to get destroyed, which is the white man. Now we at a critical point. Now I'm getting ready to break this shit down to you. This is some badass shit here. And when I break it down, you're going to see it's happening. Anyway, this is Enoch talking. Enoch is Elijah in one thing. He's Tahuti in another thing. He's Anubis. So you got several parts. You got John. Enoch or John. There is a forerunner that comes before Christ. That's Elijah, John, Tahuti, Enoch, Moses, Anubis. All that is the forerunner before Christ, but it's the same person, just different. Anunnaki, it's just different. Well, it's not even different incarnations. It's also different. It's not only incarnations. There's different incarnations in certain fields. Like he comes back as John, comes back as that, as ever coming. But it's also different. The different black nations on the earth had their names for the forerunner. But the original one, no, Melchizedek is the Christ. Is the Christ energy. Now, unfortunately, now, what's the name is saying he's Melchizedek? Rabboni. That's to be debated on one thing and all this type of thing, because it's also talking about a Christ energy. Melchizedek means male, which means the melanated ones, the Melchizedekian. Melchizedekian. Comes from the word Sutek, and that word comes from Sut, the ancient black god, which is also, as in the beginning and the end, it's also a form of the Christ, the Christ energy also too. So now, but when Enoch and all this is always the forerunner for Christ. Enoch, Elijah, Tahuti, John, Moses, all that's the same energy that comes before Christ and opens the door before the God comes. So Enoch is telling Azazel, naturally because he's on the earth now, telling before the cracker gets raised out, before the cracker gets killed, he's telling that the Son of Man, or the Holy Ancient One, is coming. And he's telling them, you know, there's going to be a severe judgment that's coming down on your ass. And it says, and it won't be no granting of a petition, because you were wrong, because you taught by all works of blasphemy, wrong and sin, which you have shown us, which means you have tormented the ancient people. And he said, but he went to them. And he says, and I went and spoke to them all together, which means that there's a cycle coming in when there's an energy also that's coming in that they know that they're losing. So you got to look at this thing multidimensional. It's also mean there's a cycle that's coming in, and the cracker knows that his time is up. That's what it means. So he said, I went to them. He said, I went to them, and they were all together. That's this secret government. Remember now, all this book of Enoch is set into the future. All spiritual material is nothing historical. It's always, they didn't write for historical things. They figured that was all a hologram, was what was writing. You reincarnate over and over. The white man writes history because he only is in a certain segment of time. We didn't write historical shit. You see what I'm saying? Basically, we wrote what's called eschatology, or apocalyptic, which means we wrote for the end time, but that's the only time which is a time which is basically worth saying because they got to teach us. So it says, I went to them, and they were together, and they were afraid, which means this government is afraid. But they're working with the catechism of impossibility. They still building buildings downtown. They come with these goddamn commercials telling you, you will be seeing this in the future. AT&T, you will be able to do this, you will be able to do that. Making you think of the future. And the average motherfucker that you talk to always talk about, yeah, you know, about 10 years from now, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. The conscious man, hell, I don't want to talk about a year from now. You got to be a dead motherfucker want to live 10 years from now, all this shit here. And even when every black person you see is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So never speak. I live one day at a damn time. I might give a month or two at the most. And when I get there, I'm still here. I got to deal with another month or two. But I don't deal with no damn generality on into the future. That's how we get fucked up, looking in the future. He killing us now. That's the science that he deal with. So he went to them and they were afraid, and they were fear and trembling seized them. And they asked me to write a record and a petition that they might receive forgiveness, and to the record for their petition to the Lord of heaven. And they were not able to speak, and they did not raise their eyes to heaven because they're not, because they can't see this shit. They're not made of the material to speak in heaven. You see, they scared too. They don't know what the hell is going on. Hell, they say that the crackers sat around and wrote prophecies, and every last one of their prophecies ran out in 1994. They could not go beyond 1994 in predictions. Even in Elizabeth Clare prophecy book, Elizabeth Clare prophet book, the astrology of the four horsemen, it goes up to 1994, as well as the Matrix books. Said in the Matrix book said that they couldn't go beyond 1994. This was a null period. They shaking in their boots. They don't know what the fuck going on. Because all what seems is not what it is. Now it says they could not speak, and they did not raise their head out of shame for their sins, and they had been condemned. And I wrote the record and the petition and the supplication in regard to their spirits, and indeed each of them in regard to what they asked, mainly that they should obtain absolution and forbearance, and which I went and sat down to Dan, and which in the south and the west of Hermon. Now, what Hermon, Mount Olympus, Mount Olives, Mount Meru, Mount Hotep is all talking about the mountaintop. I'll get into that in a few minutes. But anyway, what it was is this here. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Now, this is what's going on. I just want to read it to you in the book of Enoch, chapters 11 and 13. In the book of Enoch. What I wanted to read to you is this. At the particular time, and this is very key that you understand this right now. This is very important. There's a certain time in history that they know it's over. And they, right before they know they're going to die, and I'm not talking about years before, right at the time when they know they're going to go die, they want to beg for forgiveness.
That's right.
Now, let me explain to you what's happening. Let me explain to you what's happening. When is that time? Now. That time is now. Now, what is forgiveness? Now, you can't take things generally. He said, I'm writing a petition. They're trying to give you an overall energy on what's going on of forgiveness. Now, you're supposed to translate that in earthly terms. What do they mean by that? About 3 years ago, the government started apologizing. First, the Pope stood up and apologized. Said, you know, we apologize for slavery. 1995, the Southern Baptist Convention apologized down in Atlanta for slavery. Last December, in January, the Christian Coalition came up and said that they were unifying with black people. They want to apologize and they want to help black people. Okay. The movie Malcolm X was an apology. The Mega Ever story was an apology. The Panther story, the movie Panther, was an apology. You don't get shit now it's prophecy. And this is how they apologize.
Tuskegee experiment.
Tuskegee experiment with the Tuskegee experiment. First they came out with the movie Miss Evers Boys. Then a month ago, President Clinton apologized. Right? Apologized. Now, hold on. Let me talk about that today.
And talk about fun, we're going to apologize.
Hold on 1 minute. Hold on. Now, as you see, this is the picture. This is Atlanta Journal, but it had them all over the country. Got an old black man hugging the president. He was a motherfucker. They done shot his BB up his asshole. But you know, old black people, they see out in the brain. The heat wanted opens, you know, that's the only thing please old niggas is hug a goddamn president. Especially the president. I mean, he nutted up a storm, whatever nut he had left. Probably shitted a couple of squirts of curry hug this cracker. But you know, that's just our old people. That's why they incarnated at that time, because they saved the best for last. So he's apologizing. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It was an outrage. Okay, now he apologized. The Congressional Medal of Honor. They came and gave to the member back in January. No, in February, they gave the Congressional Medal of Honor to a couple of black people. They apologized. Then a couple of weeks later, the Navy came and apologized to this guy that shot down all the people on the boat. You know, the cook that came out there and shot down all them airplanes. And they had that group of people they apologized for. Okay. Then they made the movie Rosewood to apologize for the people that got killed in Rosewood. Plus they paid them people off. Gave them some money for Rosewood. Okay, ready? Then they apologized for the drug shit. Los Angeles drug shit. They don't have to do the math. They don't have to come all the way out. They just got to mention it. Yeah, we put the drugs out here. But you know, stupid ass niggas knew this shit. They've been putting drugs in black communities since the 1930s. But we so dumb, we don't want to speak out until the crackers say so, because that's how degenerated people we are. You see what I'm saying? Now, so they apologize for that. Naval apology. They apologized in 1990 with glory. They let white people know that white people didn't know that black people, and black people didn't know that black people fought in the Civil War. They apologized with glory. They had a Jackie Robinson celebration. They apologized for that shit.
Entitled was this come.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. They had a Jackie Robinson thing, and they apologized for that. Now let me go on, because I got some more stuff. Y'all bear with me. Don't break my train of thought, because I got something to show you. Got some other notes. Okay, let's see. They starting to apologize for the Martin Luther King shit. Had his son to come up in there and meet with the motherfucker. Now they testing the damn gun, and we waiting on the results for the gun, right?
He ready to die. He ready to die.
Right? The Texaco thing, the Texaco thing, that was a government setup. The corporate world been doing that for years. So what they did is they set up a thing to show how the corporate world does black people. So they apologizing for that. Just new shit with Chevron recently. They apologize for that. You understand what I'm saying? The shit with athletes and all this stuff and all this type of stuff. They set the whole the Tiger Woods thing. It's all set up. Look. You gotta listen. There ain't nothing to come on TV.
There you go.
It's not choreographed.
There you go.
So they'll set up the shit and have this man say some shit. You see what I'm saying? See, first of all, white people say shit to you don't never hear. And even if white people said it, it wouldn't get back to the media. So they set that up. They have apologized. What's that, brother? Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So they did that to apologize. Okay, now. I'm gonna show you another one. They did. They apologized. Let me get this right. Bill Gates just gave $40 million to the United Negro College Fund. That's the guy Microsoft. He gave $16 million. That was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago he gave $16 million to the black colleges in Atlanta for computers. That's an apology. That's an apology. Okay, let me see some more. I want to give you some apologies to let you know on what time it is. To let, what's his name, light the damn torch.
Oh, Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali at the, that's an apology for fucking him up by feeding him rat poison. Then they had a celebration, and then they made a movie, When We Were Kings, recently. That's an apology. Then they get ready to make a movie with Damon Wayans to apologize for fucking Richard Pryor up. Yeah, what's that?
They just did another apology. They Dennis Rodman apology to the Mormons and charged them $50,000.
Right. So what happened was is all these so these apologies. Now look, they're making these particular apologies. They're making these particular apologies at this particular time for one reason, that it's bearing witness at this particular time that they're trying to come clean. Now listen, in the paper down in Atlanta, this is the new shit, and let me tell you what they get ready to do. And all black people gonna buy this shit this time. They gonna buy the farm, because we don't have to worry about it. We animals anyway now, so it don't matter, but we understand the point. I explained that before. But ain't nothing virtuous in Negroes no more. Because what you're doing, you're looking at the physical body, and the physical body has to go.
Exactly.
You're not looking at the energy on the inside, and that energy, now, so we love black people, we love the physical. And you want to keep that here, but all that's got to go. So the spirit's saying, fuck it, I'm going to make all of us act like a fool, because we got to get out of here. You see what I'm saying? Because you are gods. Now, in here it says, torn by racism, this is the Atlanta Journal. Can a Southern president bring us together? Now, yesterday, Friday, Bill Clinton announced publicly that his main campaign for the next year is to bridge the gap between blacks and whites. To bridge the gap between blacks and whites. Now, he's setting this shit up. That's why he won the second term. That's why they did this whole thing in the first place. Now, he's setting this thing up. Let me explain this to you. The day that this was released, this paper, can a Southern president bring us together? The day that this was released, because it had to be a Southern president, because the cracker in the South was the most devastating at first. See what I'm saying? At first. That was the secret society, Ku Klux Klan shit, strong arm. Now, this is what the deal is. The day that this was released, the guy named Dr. Brock, the father of reparations, spoke in Atlanta and said they had some good news. What the deal is this. Somewhere in this year, when he came on TV yesterday and announced, he put this out this article came out on May 18th. He announced yesterday that they're going to bridge the gap. What they're getting ready to do is, they're getting ready to pay black people reparations. They get ready to pay black people reparations. Now, this is the key. Number one, they can pay it because they have wiped out about 12 million of the underclass that they don't have to pay. And so they got a few underclass, and they're going to pay the bourgeoisie Negro off. Now, at this particular time, it really don't matter. So if they come and give you the money, y'all might as well take it. It really don't matter. Me personally, I don't care if it's 20, 100, or 18 million. I'm not taking it. Why not? Don't follow me now and not take it. Because even if you take the money, can't nothing happen to you spiritually. You go into salvation because your energy can only, it can only be salvation because your energy is salvation. So if they pay the money, if you got some bills or whatever. With me, if I don't give a goddamn if it's 60 million, I'm not taking it. Why? Because I'm a man of principle.
Check.
My thing is, if slavery is the most devastating thing in the annals of history, then the only thing that they can pay me is their motherfucking life.
That's it.
That's it. See what I'm saying? So I can't be a hypocrite about it. I can't come and teach the gospel. And when we say this, we ain't talking about no. This is the real gospel. And go and take the money. Now, I'm not saying if you took the money, ain't nothing gonna happen to you. You might need it to pay off some bills. I don't know. You might say, well, fuck it. It's all lost anyway. So they come and give you 20,000, 30,000. You know, you depends on how much you need it. You say, shit, take it. I don't know. I'm just saying, me personally. You see what I'm saying? I'll tell you what, I'll sacrifice so y'all motherfuckers can do the shit. You see what I'm saying? And all like this. But I'm telling you, they're getting ready to pay this money soon. It's fulfillment of prophecy. They're going to pay this money. Two things what's going to happen is it makes good common sense. They're going to get the motherfucker back in about 2 days.
Yeah, that's the
Can you imagine how people going to do that? I mean, shit, can you imagine how they pay the damn money? The fucking malls will be so packed they have to open up till damn 2 in the morning. So they're going to get the shit, so it's going to boost the economy for their ass. Because they know that you can't give a bunch of consumers a bunch of money to consume, because that's all they're going to do is consume. You understand what I'm saying? And then they're going to get it back in 2 days. Number two, also too, they know that fulfillment of prophecy, they're supposed to apologize, but the fulfillment of prophecy is supposed to be a race war. So now what you think about now, since 1980 with Reaganomics, they were saying the black man got too much, and they had this whole conservative party is birthed off of what little shit they gave a nigga welfare. Can you imagine when they start giving niggas money? What the motherfucking militia groups and all the crackers all over there? It's gonna be a race war. What? Shit, if they come out on us, we gonna win. You see what I'm saying? Because the hope is, talk about the spiritual kachinas, where they say the spiritual beings will raise war on the physical beings, and the spiritual beings will win. Well, I told you who the spiritual beings are, because it's your energy. So either way, yeah, you might want to take the money and grin in the motherfucker's face. I don't know, but you know, if they pay off this money, crackers gonna go to war.
Yes, they are.
If crackers about to go to war with affirmative action and welfare, can you imagine? Some of these damn pro-crackers been in this country and been told that they the greatest, and you gonna turn around and pay the nigga their most arch enemy?
Tax dollars.
Shit gonna be hit the fan. So either that, one thing will happen. Race war is inevitable. And the militias in the Ku Klux Klan done said that shit. As well as down Charles Manson, who knew about Helter Skelter. You understand what I'm saying? And even in the book of Enoch they say it's inevitable. But we gonna win it because it's a spiritual war. So they gonna pay the money, because the race war got to start also too. Because the white man is the fulfillment of prophecy just by his energy alone. And he can't help but play along too. So the shit going down. So, I mean, that's up to you personally, whether you take the money or not. And really, if you don't take it, then cool, that's only your little personal thing. If you do take it, hey, you know, it's not like you got the guys that can't do this. You're going to suffer that, because we can't suffer. Our soul cannot suffer for nothing you do, nothing. Because we're not talking about moralism. You got an energy that's going back to the original space anyway, period. Just like gold placed in the mud does not lose its shape, your soul cannot be damaged no matter what acts you do.
Hello.
It can't be damaged at all. Energy can only go back to its own energy. I don't care what you do to it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we're talking about here. So that's what's getting ready to go on with the apology. They're getting ready to pay reparations. That's the key. They're getting ready to pay this thing. They get ready to pay this thing in a few doggone minutes. You see what I'm saying? And it's prophesied that will actually happen. So now, let's go into some other stuff. Number one, the white boys went into war bad. First of all, he was doing the melanin thing. They found out that that only acts as an aspirin to them, because you can't really. And what they're getting is only a substance of melanin called melatonin. The actual spiritual form of that goes back to the realm that it's supposed to go back to, or it goes midway point, waiting for the great day of salvation. So they'll try some of everything. So what happened was this. The white boy found out something. Number one, in the book A.E. Powell's Astral Body, I always refer to that. And I gotta find this thing because I haven't seen it since '92 when we first hit up on it. What it was is in the section called Human Artificial, they was talking about in reference to, they had a footnote in reference to what this thing was, or the origin of it. But they said a footnote, you're gonna have to go to the Secret Doctrines, which is the 2 volumes of Blavatsky. So when I went and looked open this, well, what happened was my man took my Secret Doctrines to his house that night because he had to study something. So I called the phone, and we was over the phone, and I said, well, look it up and see what the footnote is. And he said it came up with this word ape. It came up with this ape. Anyway, what it was is this. The footnote and the key to the white race is this ape. So, you know, that's why they do experiments on monkeys and all that. But what it was is the apes that you see as regular animals is an original species. So therefore, the bridge was too primal for them, and they needed to go to a missing link. Now, somewhere where there's a missing link, then somehow they can do something DNA-wise. They can't do anything, but they ain't gonna stop them from trying to try to get back. It's an all-out war for them to save themselves. That's what the deal is. They know they're losing the war. They thought they, because they wish that they could do it on the physical, but the physical is an illusion. And they are only on the illusionary plane. So it is all I want to save themselves. So they got to find this goddamn missing link. There's a missing link between the creation of, when we did the genetic engineering to create this damn devil, which is so much documentation on this thing now, we don't need to even debate this shit. You see what I'm saying? There ain't nobody mutated in no ice age. The damn Eskimos in the goddamn ice, and they ain't killing people and shitting and screwing their mamas in caves and stuff. And they ain't white. So that's bullshit. That's a theory. We got it on the temple walls of Temple of City 1 and Heretic Price of the British Museum that the white man is the devil. That's your evidence. Now, I've been over that thousands of times in my tapes. You get the Human Artificials, several tapes I got that deal with that and gave you the actual documents, and we'll get some of the books up here too so you can get the actual documents. But my point is there's a missing link that's going on. Get A.E. Powell's Astral Body and look on page 169 to tell you what the white man is. An astral shade or a corpse, which is an entity but which is not a real individual at all, although it supposes itself to be one. It has nothing to do with the original stock at all. And it has nothing in its constitution capable of responding to the good ones. Now, what's that?
Yeah, I just want to say, bro, they got a movie out there, Buddy, between the white man and
yeah, you know how many movies they got out between gorillas and stuff? Starting in the 70s with Clint Eastwood and their monkey movies and stuff like that. And all those, they got about 10 movies out with white people and apes and shit. Justin checks in and all this stuff here. Let me tell you what the deal is, even with that thing. But let me tell you what the deal is on this thing. He was the president, he was the monkey's uncle and all that. But let me tell you what the deal is on this thing so you can understand what's going on here. So they gotta find this missing link because they gotta try to save themselves. So now, Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches that the white man, when they tried to graft themselves back, or either when Yaqub tried to graft them back, they turned into an ape. Let me explain what went on. In the process of what a genetic splice, gene splice, and it was, the white man is a mixture between a pig, an ape, and a couple other things based on genetic gene splicing. Right. Also documented in Atlantis and Lemuria, which H.G. Wells was a contemporary of Rudolf Steiner. So he wrote The Island of Dr. Moreau. So they did the Yaqub story to celebrate that. So when you get if you notice how they had to graft it all down to that girl was the last one, yeah. And she was the last one before it went to the human and shit. She was the last product. Well, anyway, H.G. Wells was a contemporary of Rudolf Steiner. You know, Rudolf Steiner was the actual teacher of Adolf Hitler before Adolf Hitler ran him out of Germany. Now, so, you know, and this stuff was actually going down. So now what happened was this. Based on the gene splicing, the original thing that came out was not the white man. When they first gene spliced, the entity that came out was a motherfucking Bigfoot, a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Sasquatch.
It's a movie out there.
Which was a highly intelligent being. Now look at this shit here, what's going down here. This is some real heavy shit. It was a Sasquatch. A Bigfoot. This Bigfoot, by it having original human genes, it had a more advanced type of brain. Then, but because it looked too much like the ape, they went on and did other cloning type DNA things till they got it down to the white man, which is a hairy white man. Still got ape hair, but he don't have as much as Sasquatch. But it was a lot dumber. Now you're going to go get the movie Multiplicity. How many people saw the movie Multiplicity yet? It's on cloning. It's on cloning. Now when you see the movie Multiplicity, well, I'll get into it in a few minutes about it. Remind me of that, because when they created him, the clone didn't know that it was a clone. But in the movie Multiplicity, he cloned about 2 or 3 people of him, and they did all his work and went to work, and he just chilled. So hell, the clone say, shit, we gonna clone a motherfucker. Use the expression. We gonna clone somebody, so you can do all our work. So they went to the cloning bank and got them a clone from a clone. But since he got his from the original, he could get the duplicate. But when the clone got a clone, it was old. It was dumb as hell. It was stupid. He was like retarded. Because the clone went to the clone bank and got a clone from a clone. And so when they cloned from the clone, they got retarded. That's what the white man was. They had the Sasquatch, which had an advanced intelligence. Then they cloned this other thing, and he was so retarded, he immediately went into barbarism. In the caves, eating shit, screwing dogs, screwing the mama, polyandry, with an 18-year-old boy and had inherited the mother as his fucking partner when he got 18. And all kind of nasty, gross barbarism. Because it was too dumb, and it had to take time for the brain and the intellect to evolve. That's why intellect is the lowest thing anyway. We do intellect, but that's nothing. We're spiritual beings.
Okay.
So his intellect had to evolve over stages, but the Sasquatch, the original one, couldn't live with the other thing because it was dumb. So it had a society by itself. Now what happened was this thing here. Now they showed shit on the Discovery Channel. In 1992, 2 white boys got a picture of Sasquatch. Government say, look, this is what the deal is. Whatever this Sasquatch is, this Bigfoot thing, it is the missing link in what we need to save ourselves based on some genetic thing. If we can bridge that, we can bridge ourselves back to the black man. Some kind of way they want to do this stuff. I don't think it can be, I know it can't be done, but they ain't gonna stop them trying because they ain't got nothing to lose. So they say, look, if we can see a damn nigga picking up a dime in his house with satellite, I know damn well you can find these damn Sasquatch if these 2 crackers can go out here and take a picture of it. So the biggest shit now is a government worldwide program to find these Sasquatch. It says at least 200 left in America alone. Because by the time, at the time when this DNA thing was going on, you either had to bury in straits, or you either had a part of the landmass that wasn't all separated by ocean based on continental drift. So the government said that they putting high technology and they are putting satellite technology to find these damn Sasquatch. They tried to find Bigfoot because Bigfoot hold the freaking gap. But Bigfoot was so advanced, it's so advanced until they could stay out of sight. So the whole world don't see it, but once every couple of years you have a sighting, but that's how advanced it is. They got a culture that's damn near underground as far as the way they are because they real advanced. You see what I'm saying? So the cracker was he's looking for that type thing to save him, the Bigfoot thing. He even started the campaign in the 1980s to bridge the gap between the Sasquatch when he made Harry and the Henderson.
Yes.
Show, we want to live with Sasquatch. So he started the campaign. Although they did get a black man, they got a black man to play it to mean in actuality that his intellect was that close to the black man. It's not a black person, but his intellect, it was closer, it was the first grasp
Savior.
You understand this thing? So they're trying to get this particular Bigfoot. My point is, anytime they come out on the Discovery Channel and stuff, it's always never current event. So I suspect that they already found it in the early 90s and couldn't bridge the gap. So they had to go back to start apologizing because they know that their time is up. You see what I'm saying? They know that their particular time is up his time is up with this particular, that was their last hope, was this Sasquatch thing. Now I want to get into some things here right quick. I want to get into a couple things right quick. I want to deal with some things dealing with I want to deal with some stuff with Hitler. If you understand and turn everything around, Adolf Hitler and the whole thing that went down with the Nazi Party, if you understand timelines and cycles, same time Adolf Hitler rose up was the same time Noble Drew Ali came about and Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the early 1930s, and he started the war 10 years later in by 39, 40, and 41. Basically, America got into it in 1941. See what I'm saying? Now, if you line up these timelines, see, first of all...
All I thought. All right, go ahead. Yeah, just making sure.
So what you got going on here, if you want to understand cycles, the whole rise of Adolf Hitler is a critical moment. Number one, first of all, we got to understand who Hitler was. Hitler is the most hated person among white people to this day. You got to understand that Aleister Crowley received the Book of Law in 1904. Had a bit of prophecy, and they predicted World War I and World War II. Now you got to understand what went on in both wars, especially the culmination of it, the climax of Adolf Hitler. First of all, the energy that Hitler, that he came in and was controlling Hitler, was the energy of Horus or Heru energy. Very spiritual energy. Let me explain this to you. Europe and the Jews in Italy, Spain, France, and all of them, especially England, was involved in the goddamn slave trade.
That's right. Check. Payback.
Here comes Hitler. Hitler put scunion on their ass and devastated Europe to this day. So they say to this day, they say to Europe ain't never been the same after World War II. After World War II, they ain't having two places left, Russia and the United States. And basically it was the United States because there was two secret partners in bed. But Europe was devastated. It broke the power of England and all of them. They were superpowers. France and England were still up there. After Hitler got through with their ass, Europe was a burnt out hull. People don't know that Germany, over 100 million Russians died. You see what I'm saying? England was the biggest slave trader in the history of slave trade. So after they took it from the Portuguese, because the Portuguese at first wouldn't let them get in on it. So after they came to power and took it from the damn Portuguese, they say, well, fuck it, we gonna run the shit. And they wouldn't let nobody else get in on it but a few little neighboring things. They was the biggest slave trader, but he rocked England ass with the bombs and shit. And if it wasn't for America, they would have been fucked up. You see what I'm saying? But it wasn't for him to win the war, it was for him to do what he did. It's a spiritual manifestation. The heart energy came in the heart energy came in 1831 with Nat Turner. He fucked the cracker up. If you read his diaries, only thing he wanted to do was get to a certain town. That was it. Once he made his run, the energy was up. See what I'm saying? And so the thing with Hitler was, although he was driven if you would see the actual thing that they wanted to build, now I want to show you something. If Hitler was the epitome of evil to white people in the 20th century, and his thing started in 1931, 1939, in the 30s, and you got to understand cycles, 30s, 60s, 90s. Then in the 1990s, the new Heru energy, in which Hitler did devastation in the physical, that same energy has got to do devastation in the spiritual, and we're talking about this stuff coming in precisely on point. He rose up in 31, we had the Gulf War in 91, we had Rodney King got his ass whipped in 91, 92, you got the riots, you got a whole lot of stuff, and right now this shit is going on right now. So it was over by 95, 45 with him, so right now we're in this lull zone, which means the shit is getting ready to come up right now, because in 1947 you had a lot of shit. Aleister Crowley died, Jackie Robinson did that, O.J. Simpson was born, ain't that ironic? A lot of shit happened, the Roswell crash, a lot of stuff happened in 47, you see what I'm saying? The Dead Sea Scrolls, they found those things. So what I'm trying to say is, it's some real science when you study the whole Hitler thing. Now, Hitler was a part of the Thule Society. The Thule Society was the metaphysical branch of the Nazi Party. The Nazi Party was the political branch. The book you need to get is this book called Adolf Hitler, Black Magician, by Schultz. It used to be called Adolf Hitler, the Cult Messiah. Now, on page, Hitler, number 1, Hitler was a part of the Thule Society, and they got a lot of their mythology from Blavatsky. Blavatsky talked about the original Aryan race, the 5th root race. But what Hitler mixed up the science of the Thule Society, which started and mixed up the science of the original Aryans, was black people. But the prophecy of what the Thule Society was dealing with was precise as far as what was supposed to happen with the original Aryan race among the other black races, which you had a black element in Europe, which was all a part of Atlantis, which was one world of landmass. Now, based on the prophecy, I want to explain something here. On the prophecy, on what drove Hitler to do what he had to do. There was a guy by the name of Lytton, L-Y-T-T-O-N, if you could ever get any stuff by him. And Lytton wrote a book called The Coming Race, which was profoundly adopted by the Thule Society, as well as the information that they got from Blavatsky. In the story, he says that man discovers beneath the caverns of the earth exists a vast civilization, far superior than our own, in every respect, which has developed a superhuman psychic power known as VRIL, Vril, which can, as a result, easily perform that we would call miracles. One day, this race of supermen will emerge from the earth and rule us and destroy us. It is not known whether Lightman believed this tale, but certainly the Nazis subsequently did. Now, it says that this race that lives under the caverns of the earth, they miscalculated. The race that lived under the caverns of the earth is talking about a race that lived. Everything that you see in the hologram is considered the earth. The underworld is, there's a race of humans that live inside your body. A whole other world. And everything. And that's you. You go back and study Greek mythology, they talk about the gods were ruling and then the giants came. Why is that? Because really you ain't no more than a little guy. You ain't nothing. In actuality, you are an atom. You ain't no more than this big. But then again, you are big as the universe. But in actuality, you are invisible, or atom. And your vibratory rate fell, and you developed a physical body, and these eyes cut on, and you became blind inwardly, and you started seeing outwardly a hologram. You see what I'm saying? And you fell in love with this physical appearances. You see what I'm saying? So the race that's living up under the world is living up under your skin, or up under your brain. The inner earth, which is a race in the seed of the pineal gland, which is your real self, a little mustard seed. They say heaven is as big as a mustard seed. You see? So they miscalculated, because even though they understood, they didn't understand the metaphysical knowledge on what this underworld was. And so, but they knew, but it was this Aryan race where they was getting this stuff, which the original Aryans were black people. But they miscalculated science. But what drove them was the real deal shit. You see what I'm saying? Was the real deal stuff. That's what drove them. You see what I'm saying? And all. So now, Blavatsky talks about that, but this book here documents all that. But they took it all and put it in one book. It's called Arctos, the Polar Myth and the Scientific Symbolism and the Synopsis Survival, by Jocelyn Godwin. Godwin. Jocelyn Godwin. Arctos, Arctos.
Spell that name.
Jocelyn Godwin. Joscelyn. Anyway, they deal with the whole inner earth and all that. But now when you see this, these diagrams of the inner earth and stuff, when you see this, although the inner earth does work that way, the mystery is that the inner earth is inside your brain. So when you look at the diagrams in here on the inner earth, it's inwardly. It's the inner earth. That's the mystery. You understand what I'm saying? Everything is dealing with your body. But they also talk about the laggards up in here, in this particular book here. And these particular books is what was driven based on that particular part right now that was actually going on at that particular time. So that's very interesting that you know that you understand what's actually going on. Okay, let's see what we got here now. I just want to give that particular history so you can understand. I'm going into now some greater mysteries of the Holy Kabbalah. And what time is it, first of all?
It's 11:22.
11:20, okay, good. We're going to go to a question and answer, too, to get some stuff really rolling, too. The greater mystery of the Holy Kabbalah is the burning bush in the Bible is the Kabbalah. Anybody see the picture of the tree of life? For the people that bought the diagram here, there's a tree of life in here. Here, that you've seen the pictures of the tree of life. That's the burning bush that Moses went to talk to. You see. I'm giving you some greater mysteries and all. Bondage in Egypt is bondage in the body. That's the esoteric mystery. But it's also bondage in America. Now, when you read the esoteric documents, and when you read this, when you get this book by Arnold Posey, he's going to talk about Israel in here, and he's going to talk about the opposition to Israel is Rome. What Israel is to God, Rome is to the devil. Now, the Rome that he's talking about is not Rome of 1,000 years ago. Although the Rome of 1,000 years ago was the first manifestation of it, the Rome that they're talking about in here now, the new Rome, is America.
Right.
Amen. You get it? It's America. That's the key.
Is that Egypt also?
Huh?
Is that also Egypt
That's also Egypt is America.
That's what I thought.
Egypt, Rome, Babylon, that's America. Because all of those things was eschatology. It was talking about one place.
Yeah.
First of all, you got to realize how supposedly Satan works. That you'll know that Satan is not necessarily some spiritual entity. But Satan rests inside the white man. Satan is supposed to be a person that's supposed to be loved by everybody. That's what makes him so appealing. He's supposed to be able to get to people. But if you notice, America is the type of place whereas in itself, while saying the land of the freedom, freedom of speech, and freedom of religion, and all that, it can be the most devil just by saying these things. You understand what I'm saying? By them giving a mythology of them being so righteous, they can be the most devastating and notorious country that ever graced the planet. Just by them giving a mythology of being the home of freedom. You understand what I'm saying? But there's a little group of people, the Jews, which is the Hebrews in here, and Egypt, it would be the Egyptians or the sons of Ra. You understand what I'm saying? It would be different things in different cultures, but it's also talking about the people in this particular time right now. So that's very interesting that you know that. The snake that shall rise, the snake, excuse me. I want to deal with something right now. Moses is also Tahuti and also the Kundalini. Because there's a staff of Tahuti, there's a staff of Moses. You see what I'm saying? Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness. That's the Kundalini rising up in the wilderness. This is called the wilderness. It's also called the desert. You understand what I'm saying? Now, let me show you something. There's a white boy that wrote a book. I don't know if you can get it now because the company, let me see if I got it. I don't know, the company was from Australia and they went out of business. Next time you're in New York, you go to the Strand bookstore. You ever heard of that? It's downtown New York, the Strand bookstore. They sell used books. Next time you're in New York, you might be able to get it. But it's called The Sign of the Serpent, the key to creative physics. Anytime you hear the word creative physics, that's called melanin. Quantum physics, creative physics, that's called melanin. Name of the guy is Mark Belfour. Now in this book, Mark Belfour, he wrote this book in 1986. Now let me see when he wrote the book. Hold on. I want to give you the right thing. He wrote the book in 1990. But he said in 1986, however, the scientific evidence for the sensational reality of a universal life force energy fields in accordance to the ancient ethics shattered reconductionist view of life. He said these people called reconductionists that and intelligence are mere effects of physical causes. Now what he's saying in here, now this is the key what he says in here. He says that the universal science of life, creative physics, which is the melanin, echoes are once the universal science of life, a swiftly emerging with the far-reaching implications that touch every fact of human experience. It says, for the serpent at last is re-emerging from the long periods of hibernation. What he's saying is he recognized in 1986 that the Kundalini energy started rising in black people, basically. And he started talking about creative physics, which is actually melanin. And so he's saying that since 1986, the Kundalini energy has been rising. Somewhere 86, 87, in about a 10-year prophecy, just like the book, Emil Bach's book, said you will be in apocalyptic era for 10 years before you even know what the hell is going on, because there's a war also going on in the actual body. In the actual body. Now, in this particular book, The Mystic Trends in Judaism by Arnold Polsey, he says in this particular book, I want to read this particular section to you. On page 86, when you get this book, Mystical Trends in Judaism. There's two of them. There's Major Trends in Judaism by Gershwin Schroeder, but this is the one, Mystical Trends in Judaism. The Gershwin Schroeder is a real advanced intellectual book. This one breaks it down. This is what he says. First of all, he's talking about this angel called Metatron. And he said what happened was this. Let me explain this to you about Metatron. Metatron is another word for the Hebrew Messiah. See, the Hebrew had a Messiah too. And he was called Metatron. And it says that the Jews in their own land, they say when the Jews in their own land sinned, they brought about a destruction of the temple and their exile. Now what do they mean by that? when black people sinned, it means when black people fell into the physical body, they fell into the skin. The skin in Kabbalah is called the shell, the most foul thing in the universe. The shell. Skin and sin. You're born in skin. Ain't got shit to do with the way you behave. That's later on turned around for dogma. That got nothing to do with the original gnosis or knowledge of what's going on. Skin and sin. You fell into sin. You was born in sin. You was born into a physical body that's alien to your original God self. That enables you to do low energy things with the 5 senses. You see, central nervous system, like a roach. We're now roaches. Roaches have no brains, just a central nervous system that makes them function on the 5 senses. That's what black people have now, just a central nervous system. What feels good, looks good, sounds good, smells good, tastes good. Central nervous system. No thought process, but a few little residue left over from when you were God and when you was an ancient man in the new body and you used to be psychic. Rest of this shit is controlled by a damn cracker. That's a roach. The only mechanism roach has to keep this shit afloat is they are expert in surviving. And that's what niggas are, expert in surviving. And what how the survivors has more and more babies. That's what niggas do. Have more and more babies. Especially the lower you are on the totem pole, so the motherfucking ass do pump out babies. That's because we on the roach level, but we have to get to that level now to generate. We got to get to the roach level. A central nervous system, that's all we function by. And even more so now, because what little bit of residue and thought pattern that we did have, that shit is lost over a year ago. Niggas just got central nervous systems now. Whatever goes, the nigga might do that shit. Straight up. Unpredictable. Central nervous system. That's like a roach. Whatever goes. You see what I'm saying? It know how to run when it's in danger. You know what I'm saying? But it knows where some food is. It's like a Negro. Now, begging for quarters and shit on the street. That's what we are now. But that's positive. You got to get to the roach level. Just a central nervous system. 5 senses. Okay. So when the Jews sinned, which fell into the physical body and brought about the destruction of the temple, that's the physical temple. We were thinking it was the body. It ain't the damn body. We say the body is the temple of God. No, inside of the body is another astral body, which is the chakra system, which is the tree of life, which is the chakras is the damn temple of God, which is inside of you. The physical body is a casing of the lower ego to keep you in love with this shit without looking inwardly and loving the energy that you're about. Y'all get this?
Yes. Yes.
So they brought about their own exile. You were in exile because you were in the outer. You're dealing with the outer, but you were actually in another whole universe. You were gods. This gonna be a badass take when you go back and study this shit. It's gonna be hell. Because I ain't saying this stuff the Spirit doing. I see your word. They still had one great consolation, and that they believed that God had not forsaken them. God had withdrawn himself from them, but he had left them with Shekinah and Metatron, who watched over God's children as they went into God's children, the children of Israel, Isis, Ra, and Elohim. Metatron had detached himself from God and had gone into exile with the Jews. But what does that mean? God broke a piece of its crystal off, which is melanin, and put inside of you, and it went into exile with you. Which is God. I'm God, I'm a crystal. I break myself off and put in you hell. Inside of you is God. Because it is not the same crystal, a piece of the bigger whole, same shit. You get it? So he detached himself from God and went into Israel with the Jews. He accompanied them everywhere, from exile to exile, from land to land, and he suffered their pains and shared their torments. But it would not always be like that. The end days would come and finally the redemption of the Messianic era. Now, this is what happened. There's a prophecy. Now look at this prophecy. During the prophecy of Metatron, Metatron showed Zerubbabel, which is probably a prophet in the physical body like one of us. Metatron, which is inside, showed a picture. That's somebody channeling from the God force inside. A stone figure, y'all wake up, y'all might want to hear this. Y'all listening? Metatron showed Zerubbabel a stone figure of a woman who he knew Satan will lie with this woman. And their union will be born a great wicked one. Armilus, A-R-I-L-U-S. A-R-M-I-L-U-S. Armilius. This evil one and the stone figure will be a terrible in appearance. Hairy all over with red hair. 12 cubits high, and his arms will reach down to the ankles. That's the goddamn white man.
That's right.
That's the white man. Now you got it in black and white. No one will be able to withstand Armilius. He will conquer the whole world. That's prophecy like a motherfucker. 5,000 years old. And will slay Messiah ben Joseph. That's Osiris. I'll get into that. Or that just means Messiah ben Joseph is just talking about you the Messiah, but he slays you because you're in the physical body. And will again disperse and scatter the sons of Israel all over the earth. Damn, that's prophecy like a motherfucker. I love it when they come together like this. And when the Messiah ben Joseph is slain, then will be God's command and pass into the hands of Hezekiah and the mother of the Messiah ben David, Messiah, son of David, is the Messiah that's coming, the son of the star. Son of the star of David. David means Sirius. See, no Hebrew figures is historical at all. See, you gotta look at the shit. It's mythology. This is the same miraculous staff of Moses that divided the Red Sea. When the Messiah ben Joseph is slain, his staff will be God's command. That's what it was. He will have this particular staff that will go into the hands of Hezekiah, the mother of the Messiah ben David. And with this side of miraculous, the same staff that parted the Red Sea. The staff afterwards came to David and had belonged to Adam and so on. And this particular staff is talking about the Kundalini in you inherited. One day, that same Kundalini energy and the black dot will raise up and raise you out of bondage. The serpent. That's the staff. But it says in here that this particular person has got red hair, hairy all over, and long arms, and he will conquer the world. That's on page 86 in this book, The Mystic Trends in Judaism, Arnold Posey. So it's a very good book to get because the Judaism that they talk about in here, this